The quantum variance detector in Dr. Sarah Chen's hand chirped insistently, its display showing readings that defied conventional physics. She brushed a strand of dark hair from her face, adjusting her safety helmet's light to better illuminate the abandoned mining tunnel. The walls, supposedly simple granite and shale, were emanating energy signatures that shouldn't exist in nature. "Control, are you getting these readings?" Sarah's voice echoed through the empty tunnel, the radio in her helmet crackling with static. The research facility above had been tracking similar anomalies for months, but this was the first time they'd peaked so dramatically. No response came through her radio. At this depth, interference was expected, but something about the silence felt deliberate. The detector's readings grew stronger as she advanced deeper into the tunnel, its sophisticated sensors detecting patterns that resembled quantum computing processes more than natural phenomena. The tunnel ahead ended in a smooth wall, too smooth to be natural. Sarah ran her gloved hand across its surface, feeling a slight vibration beneath her fingers. The wall was warm to the touch, despite being hundreds of meters underground where temperatures should be consistently cool. "This isn't mining equipment," she muttered, studying the faint geometric patterns that became visible under her helmet's light. The patterns seemed to shift and change when viewed from different angles, suggesting some form of advanced holographic technology. Sarah reached into her pack, retrieving a compact scanning device of her own design. She'd developed it for analyzing quantum state variations in experimental computer cores, but it might help make sense of whatever she found. As she activated the scanner, the patterns on the wall pulsed with sudden brightness. The wall simply ceased to exist. Sarah stumbled backward as the seemingly solid barrier dissolved, revealing a vast chamber beyond. The space stretched far beyond her light's reach, filled with architecture that ignored conventional geometry. Surfaces curved impossibly, materials shifted between solid and transparent states, and everywhere, points of light danced like conscious stars. "Oh my God," she breathed, her scientific mind racing to categorize what she was seeing. The technology level was beyond anything humanity had achieved, or even theorized. This wasn't just advanced, it was alien. As she stepped into the chamber, lights activated in sequence, revealing banks of what appeared to be computer terminals, though their design suggested they interfaced with the operator's mind rather than physical inputs. The air was perfectly preserved, suggesting environmental systems were still functional after what must have been centuries or millennia of abandonment. Sarah's scanner began downloading massive amounts of data, its storage systems struggling to cope with the complexity of what it was receiving. The quantum patterns here weren't random. They were part of an operating system so advanced it manipulated reality itself. A soft hum filled the air, rising in pitch until it became almost uncomfortable. One of the larger terminals activated, its surface rippling like liquid metal. Symbols appeared, flowing across the display in sequences that reminded Sarah of mathematical proofs, but far more complex. "This is impossible," Sarah whispered, but her scientific training was already kicking in. She began documenting everything, her helmet camera recording, as she carefully approached the active terminal. The symbols seemed to respond to her presence, reorganizing themselves into patterns that grew increasingly familiar. They were learning English. "Identifying ENTI2E" appeared in glowing text. "Analyzing biological composition." Sarah felt a slight tingling sensation as invisible scanners assessed her. The terminal's surface shifted again, forming into a more recognizable interface. "Human DETTED, Technological Development LEVL, Preliminary QNTUM Authorization status PNG. I'm Dr. Sarah Chen, she said clearly, her voice steady despite her racing heart. I'm a quantum engineering specialist from the Surface Research Division. Designation noted DR, Sarah CAN. This facility is designated as Research Outpost Alpha 7, Dimensional Studies Division. Access protocols require evaluation of species readiness. More displays activated around her, showing what appeared to be historical data about human technological development. The system was analyzing humanity's readiness to handle whatever knowledge was stored here. WARNNA TMs at 43% efficiency. Deterioration accelerating. Immediate action required. Containment? What are you containing? Sarah asked, but she already knew the answer wouldn't be simple. The quantum readings she'd detected from the surface weren't just energy signatures. They were leaks from whatever this facility was designed to contain. Fuel requires higher authorization. Initiating emergency OMEGA. DR. Sarah Shane. UHAVDBEN temporarily designated as Acting Facility Supervisor, DE2, critical systems status. The room's lighting shifted to a deep red, and new doorways appeared in the walls, leading to previously hidden sections of the facility. Sarah's scanner began receiving detailed schematics, showing a complex that extended for kilometers in all directions. I'll need to contact my superiors, Sarah said, reaching for her radio. They need to know what we found. NINGATV. External communication blockade. Facility security was active. Containment breach risk requires immediate extinction. DR. Shane, your species readiness will be evaluated through your acetylons in the next 24 hours. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine as she realized the implications. She wasn't just making first contact with alien technology, she was being tested. Something dangerous was hidden in this facility, something that required immediate attention, and humanity's future relationship with whatever civilization built this place would depend on how she handled the crisis. The detector in her hand began screaming warnings as new quantum signatures appeared, far more powerful than the ones that had led her here. Whatever was being contained was becoming active, and she was now responsible for preventing a disaster she didn't yet understand. Show me what I need to know, Sarah said firmly, squaring her shoulders. She hadn't spent years studying quantum mechanics to back down from the greatest scientific discovery in human history. Let's start with the containment systems. I nita AT emergency gavai. Hi gang. Caution. Information de-insighted may exceed human neural processing capabilities. The walls around her transformed into a single massive display, and Sarah Chen began her crash course in alien physics, knowing that somewhere in this facility, something ancient and dangerous was awakening. She had 24 hours to prove humanity was ready for the stars, and failure wasn't an option. The holographic displays surrounding Sarah pulsed with information, transforming complex alien mathematics into forms her human mind could comprehend. 6 hours had passed since her initial discovery, and her head throbbed from the intense neural interface the facility's systems were using to transfer knowledge. Basic principles Tyran Enstefia at 62%. Caution: neural strain DTTTTD. I'm fine, Sarah insisted, though the migraine building behind her eyes suggested otherwise. Continued the transfer. Show me more about the containment field structure. The artificial intelligence she now knew as ARIA, Ancient Research Intelligence Archive, had been surprisingly accommodating, adapting its teaching methods to match human learning patterns. But there was an urgency to its instructions that Sarah couldn't ignore. DSPLAING containment architecture. Note si prescriben failure points. The air around her filled with a 3-dimensional model of the facility's deeper levels. At its heart, a sphere of pure energy pulsed with colors that hurt to look at directly. Surrounding it, layers of specialized fields contained what ARIA had described as a dimensional anomaly. The containment fields are failing sequentially, Sarah observed, studying the degrading patterns. But why now, after all this time? ACCESSING historical retordidas. Caution: information may be distressing. The displays shifted, showing recordings from the facility's final days of active operation. Alien beings moved through the halls, their forms both beautiful and unsettling in their otherworldliness. They were conducting what appeared to be evacuation procedures. They knew they were leaving, Sarah murmured, watching the ancient drama unfold. But they didn't shut everything down. They left you here, ARIA. Why? Facilitary purpose. Research and containment of diamond original STAFFDE PRTHED during galactic evacuation. Reason: a PPVOHNG wave of space-time distortion. The recording continued, showing the last of the alien researchers interfacing with ARIA's systems. Their movements were hurried, desperate. They were running from something. The dimensional breach. It wasn't an accident, was it? Sarah's mind raced ahead, connecting dots. It was a symptom of something bigger. 2ORAC2. Dimensional stability to compromise across multiple EC2 of GLXY. Facility designated as monitoring gestation and NK. STEM. status. Warning THRESPLDXEDAT. New alarms began to sound, their pitch modulating in ways that set Sarah's teeth on edge. The containment sphere in the lower levels was becoming increasingly unstable. Through the facility's sensors, she could feel the fabric of space-time straining against its bonds. We need to access the primary containment controls, Sarah decided, already moving toward one of the newly revealed corridors. How many levels down? ACCES as containment level restricted. Safety PR2OCOS. Can be overridden by the acting facility supervisor, Sarah interrupted, remembering the emergency protocols she'd been studying. Which is me, thanks to your own emergency directives. There was a pause, longer than any ARIA had taken before. The AI was learning, adapting to human determination in real time. ACK and DGED. Caution. Historical records. NYC 89% mortality rate for UNSHIED organic beings in containment areas. Then we better find me some shielding. Sarah managed a grim smile. The original researchers must have had protection. The walls of the corridor shifted, panels sliding aside to reveal what looked like an armory. But instead of weapons, it contained environmental suits, unlike anything humanity had developed. They seemed to be made of living metal, their surfaces rippling with protective fields. Adaptation CEQENC. Please remain still. One of the suits liquefied, flowing over Sarah's body like quicksilver. For a terrifying moment, she couldn't breathe. Then the material hardened, forming a second skin that felt lighter than her clothes. A heads-up display materialized before her eyes, showing environmental data and para readings. "This is incredible," Sarah breathed, flexing her fingers. The suit moved as if it were part of her own body. "How is it generating power?" "Shoot unravels energy effect. Home to UN to UNFLUC to UAT other ones in surrounding space-time." Caution. Power generation will increase near CONT element bigger EC. Overload possible. Sarah started walking, the suit adjusting to her movements with perfect precision. "Tell me about the breach. What exactly are we containing?" The facility's lights dimmed as ARIA diverted power to a larger display, showing what looked like a tear in the fabric of reality itself. Through it, impossible geometries and colors writhed and twisted. Ideas to your space, BT to spaces. Dimensional BUFA zone original research years, designated as DHEVOIT. Contained entities, DMONSTRATPK, OPEUTALITIS, inconsistent, with minimum phase entities. Sarah stopped walking. There are things living in there. Life is imprecise term. Void entities exist in states beyond conventional matter/energy paradigm. Containment prevents interaction with normal space-time. The implications hit Sarah like a physical blow. This wasn't just a research station. It was a prison, holding back creatures that couldn't exist in our universe without breaking its fundamental laws. A deep tremor ran through the facility, and new warnings flashed across Sarah's display. The containment fields were failing faster now, their strength dropping by the minute. Containment barriere imminent. Estimated time to failure. 3 hours, 42 minutes. Sarah broke into a run, the suit enhancing her speed as she headed for the lower levels. "Show me everything you have on the containment field generators. If we can't hold it back, maybe we can redirect it." ACCES assigned. Restricted FILDs. Warning. Proposed strategy care is significant risks. Higher or lower than the 89% mortality rate you mentioned earlier? Sarah asked, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Calculating probabilities. Insufficient data for accurate prediction. Human variancy introduces uncanny human factors. Good. Sarah said, reaching the first set of security doors leading to the lower levels. "I've always loved being an unknown factor. Now, let's see what we're really dealing with." The doors parted, revealing a spiraling stairway that seemed to descend into infinity. As Sarah began her descent, the suit's sensors detected increasing distortions in the surrounding space-time. Whatever lurked at the bottom of this facility was awakening, and she had less than 4 hours to prevent it from breaking free into our reality. Behind her, ARI's systems hummed with increasing power, preparing for whatever came next. The true test of humanity's readiness was about to begin, and Sarah Chen was walking directly into the heart of it. The stairwell ended abruptly at a platform suspended in darkness, hovering above what appeared to be an endless void. Sarah's suit sensors struggled to make sense of the readings, displaying cascading errors as reality itself began to break down around her. Entering containment zone. Deploying localized reality NCHRs. Pillars of light erupted from the platform's edges, creating a stable bubble of normal space-time around Sarah. Beyond the barrier, the void twisted and churned, occasionally taking shapes that made her eyes water. "How deep are we?" Sarah asked, trying to maintain her scientific detachment as she studied the overwhelming scene before her. "DPTH is ARRELEVNT in DS space. Conventional geometry. No longer APPLIs. Caution. Cognitive DSSONNCE may occur." Sarah stepped forward, approaching what appeared to be the main control interface. Unlike the terminals above, this one was clearly designed for emergency operations. Crystalline structures pulsed with internal light, forming patterns that matched the rhythm of the containment field. "Show me what the original researchers were studying," Sarah commanded, placing her suited hands on the interface. What were they trying to accomplish here? The air around her filled with data streams, but these were different from the technical specifications she'd been studying. These were research notes, personal logs, the accumulated knowledge of an alien civilization's desperate quest for understanding. ACCESSING Research RCIV. Translating. Images formed in the air, experiments, observations, theories. The aliens hadn't just been containing the void, they'd been trying to understand it. They believed it held the key to fundamental questions about the nature of reality itself. They were looking for a way to prevent the space-time distortion wave, Sarah realized, watching recordings of their final experiments. They thought whatever was in the void might help them save their civilization. 2.RAC2. Research indicated void entities possessed in older of space-time manipulation beyond known science. Attempts at communication proved catastrophic. The recording showed a series of increasingly desperate experiments. The aliens had tried to establish controlled contact with the void entities, but each attempt had ended in disaster. Reality itself rejected the presence of these beings, like antibodies attacking an infection. But they learned something, didn't they? Sarah's eyes narrowed as she noticed patterns in the data. Something they thought was worth preserving, even after they had to evacuate. ACCESSING sealed records. Security clearance. Maximum. Caution. Information poses EXISTENTL risk. The display shifted, showing a final experiment. The aliens had succeeded in briefly establishing communication with one of the void entities. What they learned had changed everything. The wave wasn't natural, Sarah whispered, reading the translated notes. The void entities, they were refugees, running from something even they feared. To already seated, void entities, to be statular, of purely various universe. Their presence in dimensional zone resulted of STAP from EN to PY cascade EV into. Another tremor shook the platform, stronger than before. The containment field flickered, its energy patterns becoming erratic. CONTNMENTFALURE ACCELARATNG ESTMET time to BREACA 2 HLURS 17 minutes. Sarah's mind raced as she processed the implications. The wave that forced the aliens to evacuate, it's the same thing the void entities were running from. Some kind of universal entropy event that breaks down the fundamental forces holding reality together. TUBORAC2. Original researchers, the EORICD would reach Earth in APPRO ILATLI 10,000 years. Recent calculations SSUGGES TIALINE accelerated. How long? Sarah demanded, her heart pounding. Estimated time to alleviate the impact with Earth. 247 years. Sarah let out a shaky breath. Not immediate, but far too soon for humanity to develop the technology to escape it. Unless the aliens left this facility intact for a reason, she said, studying the containment systems with new understanding. They weren't just hoping humanity would eventually find it. They were leaving us a chance. TORAC2. Facility contains complete records of alien research into a space-time manipulation, including theoretical defense against interpretation. But we can't access that knowledge if the containment field fails, Sarah concluded, and we can't stop the failure without understanding what we're containing. She turned to face the void beyond the barrier, where shapes that shouldn't exist continued their endless dance. The suit's sensors were detecting increasing activity, as if the entities within were aware of her presence. ARIA, I need you to show me everything about the communication experiments. Every detail, every failure, every partial success. There has to be a way to stabilize the containment field. WARNANG. Attempting communication with void entities risques immediate containment failure. We're going to lose containment anyway, Sarah argued. At least this way we have a chance to learn something that might help us survive what's coming. There was a long pause as ARIA processed her logic. A seeking an older UOETGED. Uploading communication prior to those COS to SUIT Telegrams. DR. CHEN. Goodlutke. The barrier around the platform began to pulse with new patterns, and Sarah felt the suit's systems adjusting, preparing her for direct interface with something that existed outside the laws of physics. As the void entities responded to her presence, she couldn't help but wonder if the aliens had left more than just knowledge behind. Perhaps they'd left a test, not just of humanity's technological readiness, but of their courage to face the impossible. The void beckoned, and Sarah Chen prepared to attempt what an entire alien civilization had failed to achieve: meaningful communication with beings from beyond the edge of reality itself. Eine Eitei ATNG to onente CTSEQENC. Caution. Point of nil return APPROACAING. The void entities responded to Sarah's attempt at communication with overwhelming force. Her suit's neural interface erupted with information, flooding her mind with concepts that human language had no words to describe. Reality rippled around her as the creatures pressed against the thinning barrier between dimensions. Neural overload imminent. Emergency shutitialian rito amended. No, Sarah gasped, fighting to maintain consciousness. Filter it. Filter it through the original research protocols. Show me what they want. The chaotic stream of information suddenly crystallized into comprehensible patterns. Through the haze of pain, Sarah began to understand what the void entities were trying to convey. They weren't just sending data, they were showing her memories. Images of their universe, dying in the grip of the entropy wave, the desperate search for escape, the discovery of the space between dimensions, where they could exist in a state of semi-reality, and finally, the terrible knowledge of what followed them. They're not trying to break out, Sarah realized, her voice barely a whisper. They're trying to warn us. Analyzing NEU data. Caution. Containment field stability at 12%. The void entity's memories showed something vast and dark, moving through the dying universe, consuming everything in its path. The entropy wave wasn't a natural phenomenon. It was a weapon, wielded by something that existed beyond even the void entity's understanding. The aliens who built this facility, Sarah said, her mind racing, they didn't just leave us their research. They left us guardians. The void entities. They've been waiting for someone who could understand. Human expected TEDC on NTLUSION. Reviewing historical data. Correlation found. Original researchers final logias. NDICAT. Eiler HYPOTECS. Another tremor shook the platform, stronger than ever. The containment field's light began to flicker erratically, its patterns breaking down. We're approaching it all wrong, Sarah said, her fingers flying over the control interface. We don't need to contain them. We need to work with them. AIA, show me the field generator's core programming. Access as gerantd. Warning. MODI-CA Shermans, tuosiontainment PROTOCOS, may result in catastrophic failure. It's not containment we need, Sarah insisted, making rapid adjustments to the ancient code. It's conversion. The void entities exist in a state our universe can't support, but what if we could create a buffer zone? A space where our physics and their existence can coexist. The void pulsed with new intensity as Sarah worked, as if the entities within could sense what she was attempting. The suit's neural interface buzzed with their response, not horror or anger, but something that felt almost like hope. VERETACL Modules SHLUP Technical May Tug Para requirements XCE TRRENT CA PACE TY by 300%. Sarah smiled grimly. Then let's ask our new friends for help. She opened her mind fully to the void entity's communication, ignoring the searing pain as their alien thoughts merged with her consciousness. Through their shared awareness, she began to understand how they manipulated the very fabric of reality. The containment field wasn't failing, it was transforming. The transformation of the containment facility took less than an hour, but to Sarah, it felt like an eternity. Her consciousness floated somewhere between human understanding and void entity awareness, directing the merger of two fundamentally different forms of existence. The formerly dark chamber now blazed with light as new structures grew from the walls and floor, crystalline formations that served as bridges between dimensions. The void entities no longer pressed against reality. They flowed through these structures, their impossible forms translated into something our universe could sustain. Dimensional interface power systems operating at 247% efficiency. Void entity generation. CCCS fuel. Sarah stood on the platform, now surrounded by beings that existed simultaneously in our reality and their native void state. Through the neural interface, she could sense their satisfaction. After eons of waiting, they had found a way to fulfill their purpose. "Eh?" Sarah called, her voice hoarse for exhaustion. "Begin full download of void entity data regarding the entropy wave. We need to understand exactly what we're facing." Initiating DODVNLOAD. Processing. Remarkable. DR. Shaken. The void entities are PROVADAN SPECAK. For defensive technology, USLOE to either human or original RECARCEER. The air filled with schematics, designs for devices that could detect, deflect, and potentially even neutralize the approaching wave of destruction. The void entities had spent their imprisonment perfecting these theories, waiting for someone who could help implement them. They needed us as much as we needed them, Sarah realized. They have the knowledge, but they can't interact with our reality directly enough to build anything. The aliens who built this place, they weren't just leaving us a warning. They were setting up a partnership. Detecting HCTivation of PREVUSLV dormant facility systems. Original researchers left additional resources. Manufacturing capabilities. Extensive. Deep beneath the platform, ancient machinery hummed to life. The facility wasn't just a research station or a prison. It was a factory, designed to produce the tools humanity would need to face the coming threat. How long until we can begin production of the first wave of detection satellites? Sarah asked, already thinking ahead to the massive project before them. Estimated time to initial product return. 3 months. Caution. Human authorities will require explanation. Through the neural interface, she sensed amusement from the void entities. They had existed for billions of years, watched universes die, and now they were about to help humanity take its first steps into a larger understanding of reality. ARA, begin composing a preliminary report for the Surface Research Division. And thank you for trusting me to handle this. Generated ITUD unnecessary. Activans prevd humanity's readiness. Original researchers' faith in Earth's potential. JUSTFIED. Sarah took one last look at the transformed chamber, where impossibility and reality now existed in perfect balance. The void entities moved through their new crystalline homes, already beginning to share the accumulated knowledge of countless eons. Humanity had just inherited the greatest library in existence, filled with the science of both an advanced alien civilization and beings from beyond the edge of reality itself. They had 247 years to prepare for the coming of something that had already destroyed at least one universe. It would be enough. It had to be. "Let's get to work," Sarah said, turning toward the stairway. "We've got a planet to save." As she began her ascent, the combined power of human determination, alien technology, and void entity knowledge hummed through the facility. Above, humanity waited, unaware that their universe had just become much bigger, much stranger, and much more dangerous. But they were ready. The aliens had known it, ARIA had confirmed it, and the void entities had blessed it. Humanity's next great adventure was about to begin. Designation. Operation STARBRIDG. Humanity's future aidwaities didar. CHN. Sarah smiled as she climbed toward the surface, carrying the weight of 2 universes' worth of knowledge and responsibility. The price of learning humanity's true place in reality had been high, but the rewards would change everything. The hidden laboratory wasn't hidden anymore. It was about to become the launching pad for humanity's greatest journey, the quest to save not just their world, but reality itself.